What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode Podcast interview. First off, thank you so much for tuning in, for checking out the show. Your support is massively appreciated. The only reason that this show exists is because of all of your amazing support. So we truly appreciate your support. I truly appreciate your support. Make sure that you're sharing the show with as many people that you feel would benefit from the show. The goal is to always grow this show and go out there and have a big impact. Real quick though, before we jump into today's podcast, I want to plug our sponsors that make all of this possible. Our first sponsor is my personal 90-day mastery bootcamp. This is my real estate agent mentorship training program. It's a group training platform. This way it makes it extremely affordable for you. Inside this program, however, I am unpacking my entire playbook. I'm walking you through step by step everything that I do inside my real estate business, everything that I've done, everything I've learned in my 12-plus year career with selling over 5,000 homes, with selling over $1 billion in real estate. And I walk you through step by step exactly what I've done, how I built what I've built, and what I'm doing today to go out there and create the success. But don't mistake the low cost for low value. This is an insanely in-depth, step-by-step program where I'm walking you through, again, step-by-step on how I go out there. My team sells 1 to 2 homes every single day in today's market, continue to grow my business year after year, and how I've been able to exit from selling, exit from actually day-to-day involvement in my real estate team, and create an epic, amazing real estate team that not only sustains but grows without my involvement. So whatever level that you're at, whether you're a brand new real estate agent, you're an individual high-producing agent that wants to expand and create a team, or if you already have an amazing team, or you're a broker owner that's looking to step up your internal training, looking to step up your systems, your processes, your tracking, make your business more predictable, this program is absolutely for anybody that's serious about leveling up inside their business. So check us out, www.90daymastery.com. Make sure you use promo code LIVEMASTERY, all one word, all together, all caps. That's going to get you the biggest discount on 90daymastery.com. You're going to see tons of testimonials on their video testimonials, what's included in the program, the future dates of the program. I do several of these every single year, so make sure to check us out and make sure to jump inside that program ASAP. My next sponsor that makes this show possible is PerfectStormNow.com. If you're a real estate agent and you are looking for a lead generation machine website backed by an insanely powerful CRM system that allows you to convert your leads to appointments at the highest possible level, manage all your tasks, make sure that you're effective and efficient as you possibly can be inside your business, transaction management component, all of that stuff. It is hands down by far the most effective and affordable real estate website and CRM program that exists out there in the industry. It's what I use to go out there and sell 650 plus homes every single year, and the system is gnarly. If you're signing up for that program, make sure to use promo code MASTERY, PSN, all caps, all one word, all together. That'll save you the $200 registration fee and get you a great discount. Our last sponsor is REO University. So I teamed up with a good buddy of mine who is the most knowledgeable dude, hands down, that I've ever met when it comes to REO properties. This guy used to work for the banks directly as an asset manager, and he developed so many of the systems that you see that asset managers and asset management firms and banks use today. This guy sold over 11,000 properties, foreclosure properties, as an asset manager. And he and I teamed up with my experience of working with over 35 banks in my career, selling thousands of REOs, plus his experience. We've created just an insane program. Again, REO University, the website is www.REO University. It's a one-time payment for $997, or you can split that up into 3 monthly payments. This is not a live boot camp like my 90-Day Mastery boot camp. This is something that you have access to instantaneously. We'll walk you through exactly how to go out there and get in with the banks. So how to get the business, but then how to service that business at the highest level, how to go out there and complete BPOs, how to complete cash for keys, how to make sure that you're insane at your valuations, how to go out there and make sure that your asset managers are winning and hitting their goals, key indicators you need to look for, and more. There's 22 in-depth, just amazing, powerful modules that will teach you how to become an REO machine inside your real estate business. Now, if you're like me, I don't want my business to ever be in a vulnerable position, right? I don't care if it's a good market, bad market. It doesn't mean that my business needs to be good or bad. My business can always be great. During a market crash, right? There's no such thing as if the market's going to crash. It's just a matter of when, right? But again, you don't need to put yourself in a vulnerable position. You can make sure that your real estate business is 100% recession proof, and go out there and, of course, generate business, do a ton of business regardless of what's happening in the marketplace. And this is exactly how you go out there and do it. And we walk you through step by step. So check us out, REOMasteryUniversity.com. You can learn more about the program, hopefully register for the program, jump on in. This price will not last long, right? We just created this product, rolled it out several months ago, and just getting in the hands of the consumer, and people are having a lot of amazing success. So again, check us out, REOMasteryUniversity.com. All right, again, you guys, thank you so much for watching this show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to share the show. Make sure to comment. Like us on YouTube. Leave some positive comments. We love hearing back from you guys, and love getting your feedback. Keep kicking ass, and let's jump on into today's interview. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode Podcast interview. Every single week, we interview top entrepreneurs, top real estate professionals, and those that are just strip dominating their space. They're people choosing to not live a life of mediocrity, but instead to go out there and create big, amazing, epic lives for themselves, for their families, as well as have a big impact on others while they exist. So today, you guys, another special guest, another rock star guest on the show. So our guest today, guys, is a top producing real estate agent. Started I think in 2009, got in the real estate industry and quickly became a top producing real estate agent that then naturally led to him becoming a successful team leader and creating a very successful real estate team, which then led to a lot of other opportunities. He became a peak performance coach and a real estate agent coach for some of the top coaching programs in the industry, speaking on stages, again, it's just had a lot of success in so many different ways. And now today, he oversees operations and digital marketing for Redline, which is a real estate brokerage up in Canada and soon to be international, right? So really stoked and honored to have Jeff Thibodeau on the show. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited and honored to be on your prestigious podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. That's gonna be a lot of fun, bro. So, all right, man. So before we get into what you're doing, I'm always intrigued in our guest journeys that led him here. So, I think I saw that you jumped in the business in 2009. So we're like, you've had a lot of freaking damn success in a short period of time, right? Like, you've been in this game for, like the guest I had on before you, who's very successful agent, luxury market, but he's been doing this 25 years, and so, you created this success pretty quickly. And so with that being said, man, why real estate? What led you into real estate, and how this journey began, dude?
Yeah, for sure. My origin story, if you will, right? So I went to school for computer programming just because it seemed to be something that I enjoyed in high school, and all my friends were going to college, and I needed to pick something. So I picked computer programming at a community college. Went through a 3-year program, and through that, it actually my co-op got me placed at a market research firm. So that co-op job, through school. And so that co-op job led to a full-time job on graduation. So I never went into the hardcore programming world. I ended up becoming in the IT department of a market research firm. But very quickly, I kind of navigated myself through that and was promoted up to project management, running the call center, going out to meet clients, designing surveys, hosting focus groups, and then presenting results. So a lot of the same stuff we do in real estate, but in a different, more of a B2B environment. And then quickly in there, I realized, like, I'm not from a metro center. So I was lucky to find one of these jobs in my small town. But I hit the glass ceiling pretty quick in that industry if I didn't want to move to a major metropolitan city, which is not what I wanted to do with my life. So I immediately started looking, I was about 27 at the time. it wasn't really exciting for me to think I was at the peak of this career. There wasn't a whole lot more to do. Real estate transaction myself, and I'll tell you, I looked at what my agent did for me at the time, and I was easy. So I went and I got my real estate license. Right up here was 3 courses and you're licensed. Right. So I signed up with a major franchise right away. Given a book and a pat on the back and told good luck. And I struggled for 3 years. I'm doing it part time. So my first 3 years, I still kept that market research job. Was doing it a lot remote, but then I was doing evenings and weekends basically with friends and family doing deals. 3 years into it, I looked at my client list and I said, oh my gosh, I've literally sold a home to everyone I know. I better figure out how to meet strangers. And from a guy who had 0 sales background, I'm more comfortable behind a computer. And that's what got me into, hiring a business coach. And then that took me down this long road of intense training for the last 6 and 7 years at the highest level I could imagine, higher than I thought when I got into it, the amount of performers that are out there. And so I've just been a sponge for the last 6 or 7 years, listening to what people smarter than me or more experienced than me have told me to do and bringing it back here to my town of about 100,000 people and implementing it and watching it, win. And that kind of year over year, we just change, shift, move. And it's resulted in now today us partnering up with some other people and bringing everything we know to a new brokerage model. So I'm probably much like you. I get a little ADD and a little bored with things once you start to taste a little success. So I just keep pivoting. And that's where I'm at today.
Yeah, and I love that, dude. So, all right, so your first few years you're struggling. You had that realization of, oh shit, dude, like I've sold houses in my inner circle. Like this is tapped out. I got to figure something out. You reach out to this coach, and that's where it just seems like that was to be the turning point that allowed you to go out there and take that to the next level, and then continue to lead down this journey. I'm a huge believer in coaching, right? And it's not because some people look at it now because, I have some coaching products, right? But, if anybody's, you can go hunt down YouTube videos that I have on my channel before I ever even fathomed being a coach. And I'm one of these guys where I haven't had for at least the last decade, right? As soon as I found out about coaches and the power of coaches, dude, I haven't went one single day for the last decade without a coach because I see the power in them. And, I think that our listeners really need to understand the power of it, right? So can you just kind of talk about, okay, you got this coach, number one, how did you identify the coach? Because there's a lot of great coaches, but there's a hell of a lot of shitty coaches too, right? And then what was it about that relationship that allowed you just to, start exploding your business?
For sure. So at the beginning, I didn't necessarily seek out, I didn't wake up one morning and start Googling coaches, right? The way it happened for me is I was with my national franchise at one of their big events, and a prominent real estate coach at the time was one of the keynote speakers. And I'm an education junkie, right? So I had been to see a lot of the smaller tour circuit speakers, we'll call them, right? And it never really resonated with me. They were in their pinstripe suits, walking the walk, telling you about a script, but it all seemed a bit like fake and salesy to me. And when this guy, it was Tom Ferry at the time, right? He was on stage with this whole new perspective and new energy. He's a lot more like a Tony Robbins than a traditional real estate trainer. And he said something on stage that day, and I remember he said, we believe there's no wrong way to generate a business. There is no wrong business model. That's our belief in the system. And that struck a chord with me, right? And that caused me to just commit and swipe my credit card at that time for coaching. Now, I didn't understand what was going to happen from there. I don't know if some part of me thought I was going to get Tom as my own personal coach or whatever, but I was in. I was like, this is what I want. This is what I need. Feels good to me. And then I just requested, hey, please place me with a Canadian coach, because at this time, the American market was much different than the Canadian market. You guys are going through a whole ton of bank-owned stuff that wasn't really an issue up here. Prospecting expireds isn't really a thing we can do legally up here and stuff. So I wanted a Canadian perspective. So they placed me with, one of their, handful of Canadian coaches. He turns out to have been, a lifelong coach from Mike Ferry up through Tom Ferry, who's basically just the opposite of me, right? The hardcore scripts, sales, call the phone, do your work, no excuses. And that was a real shock, honestly. We had a lot of resistance at the beginning because I wanted to do business my way. I wanted to make web leads and social media posts and videos. And he was like, yeah, but you also need to sell houses, Jeff. So it was a lot of friction at the beginning, but I do credit Doug. I just saw him actually at the conference last week again. to really giving me my sales education in the beginning, right? Because it's so tough in your office or mastermind group. That mentorship inside of your own community, your own office is challenging.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And I got to imagine, I know you talked about a lot of resistance in the beginning, and I get that, right? Because you got this guy that he's, totally old school. We were trying to go to new school, but man, I got to imagine like mastering what his skill set and taking that, creating that superpower plus with your tech, savviness, you combine those two, man, it just becomes game over, dude.
It really allowed me to start like leveling my own career up. And I'll tell you, I'll be really honest here. When I really noticed it was when we didn't really set out to form a team either, right? I ended up bumping into a guy that I'd known previously as a service advisor at a car dealership. And I hadn't seen him in a while at my car dealership. And I saw him at a Starbucks. I said, "Hey man, I haven't seen you." And he goes, "Oh, I'm getting and if you're listening." So I said, "Hey, if you want to run, I got a ton of web leads that I'm not even really working, right? Because I'm letting the cream bubble to the top." And when he got his real estate license and we plugged him into my old like 400 stale web leads, he just started crushing it. So when you took someone with natural sales skills or a resume of being a salesperson, and that really lit up my eyes, like, oh my, we've got something here. If you can figure out how to generate the business and how to work it, there's actually two phases to that funnel. Neither works as well on its own without the other part. And that's when things started to really take off for us.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, dude. So, all right, man. So then though, that starts taking off, you've got, like you just talked about, you've got all the new leads coming in, you got the back end, setting the appointment up and business continues to grow there. The team continues to grow, but then it sounds like you then got into the coaching space. Yeah, right. And then started actually working as a coach for Tom Ferry. Is that correct? Is that kind of the path you took?
Yeah, like you go to these events, and anyone who's been to them, it's very inspirational. Like the coaches and the coaching team become like little mini rock stars inside of that community, right? Because you look up to them, they're on stage, and so it was very aspirational for me to be a coach. And I had actually pursued well before I was qualified to, right? I was like, "Hey, can I join? Can I be a coach?" And they're like, I'm sure they were being nice to me and saying, "No, not yet, Jeff." But they're looking and like, "Dude, you sell like 12 houses a year. You're not going to coach anybody." But then once I had come through that and had seen some success and had been really involved in the community, I got the opportunity to interview to become a coach. And it was great. Like I got off the phone and they were like, "If you want this, you got to get on a plane to Newport Beach like in 3 days and come down for the training." And I had to like take a walk around the block and go like, is this something I want to do? Right. Now that it's real and the opportunity's here. And I said, "You know what, even if it's not a full pivot, if it's just a side business, it can't be bad to go hang with all these people that just believe in growth and abundance and these systems and go hang at the highest level with all these coaches and their trainings and just try this out." And so I just dove right in with everything I had. And it was one of the most impactful years of my life for sure, because you're just around 100% of the people you're surrounded with just operate at this level, right? So it's really hard to not just get sucked into that and just get rid of your excuses and just start going and getting it, right? So it was really awesome for me. And I got to speak on the stages, at the peak at one of the big events. I think there was thousands of people in the room, right? And I got my 18 minutes of fame. And so much positivity came from that in terms of being a better leader, setting myself up to be where I am today, public speaking skills, empathy for your own agents and what they're going through. And then just really solidifying the training side of it, that it's not, success doesn't come by luck in this business. It comes by hard work. If someone credits it to luck, they just don't know where the real work came from. It just, they're not analyzing it enough. But, it's been an incredible ride. And now I feel like the tables get to turn and I get to repay that forward to my agents and through my content and just putting out free content, much like you do. To just pay it forward, because so many, without all these great influences that have, given their time to me, I'd be back still at my old job, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I love it. So then while you were coaching, man, were you, because I know I've got several friends that are coaches for Tom Ferry, and, they're still able to go out there and focus on building their real estate teams as well as be a coach. Were you doing these simultaneously, or did you just go chips on coaching?
No. So coaching it was originally designed to be a 1 day a week commitment. But then my client roster expanded. So for me, it was about a day and a half. It was like all day Tuesday. I didn't think about real estate or my sales team at all. It was a coaching day and like half day Thursday. And we tried to compartmentalize it, right? But I would say one of the reasons I backed out of it is because it is a demanding job, right? Like if you're going to be a great coach for someone, you do have to take that call in between calls if they're in a stressful place, or check their marketing materials. Like if you want to operate at a high level for them. So I just couldn't balance it all, to be honest, right? Like, and I decided one morning, I just woke up actually, and I rolled over to it and said to my wife, I think I got to quit coaching. And she was like, what? You love coaching. It's like, you talk about it all the time. I'm like, I know, but I'm neglecting my own business now, right? So even though, if there was twice as many hours in a week, I'd love to juggle both things still. But ultimately we have to focus the energy in one direction at a time. And so that was my, it took a while to transition out and move your clients off your schedule and get back. And then strangely now I still coach, except they're my own agents now, and it's not for money. It's just, I'm their broker, right? So I'm coaching them. So I almost found it's like, I'm never going to get away from it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so amazing to watch other people cry, right? I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yep. 100%, man. So then, like pre-coaching, man, did you ever have a thought or a vision of creating your own brokerage and going that path? Or, what was it going through that coaching where you kind of discovered that, or had that self-discovery of like, look, man, like I really like going out there and helping others develop their business. And is that what then kind of led you and attracted you to go into the brokerage route?
I think it's a little bit of a combination, right? I don't think I set out to be where I'm at today. Like all of us, we were just wanting to make some sales, right? I was just getting out of the grind of having a full-time job and being independent. But I always had this like spark of entrepreneurialism. Like I always did things my own way, even very early. Like I branded it as a team. I gave it a me. It wasn't like a rock star type setup where I was the face of everything. And so then slowly the team name became big and the brokerage name became small. So I think we were on that path for a long time. But then it really happened for us with my partner, Darren there, who works with Kelly out in Calgary. When we were in a mastermind group together and both growing our sales teams, and we were talking weekly about what was going on. And we were taking all the lessons given from our coaches and just implementing them. And we were pushing each other and growing, but a lot of our conversations every week were about frustrations and challenges and the parts of the teams that we didn't really love. And we both hit this frustration point where we had achieved a lot of success, but we both decided that I don't think we got the energy to double the team again. Like it isn't, we got to this spot, but it wasn't what we wanted. And so I got on a plane, I flew out to Calgary and met up with Kelly, Darren, and Brett, the other partner out there. And we spent a night in a basement with whiteboards, 3 days actually, talking about what we love about our teams, where all the friction is and where we see the industry going. And that was poof. That was the spark of where we are today. And that conversation was just over 2 years ago. So things have been happening really fast.
Yeah, no, that's badass, man. And I haven't hit that point yet in my career. And I don't know for sure if I'm going to. If you asked me a year ago, I would have said, yep, 100%. Like the next natural progression is to create a brokerage. Again, there's a lot of uncertainty now with that. However, dude, I got to imagine, and this is where my mind's been for several years of like, hey, helping my agents on my team. It's a lot of fun and having that coach, those conversations. But when you're able to go out there and be that broker, now go out there and help other team leaders and really go deep with the influencers, man, I got to imagine that just becomes a whole new game and just a hell of a lot more fun.
It's really something. I have to say, man, it's really something seeing, between the two offices, we're, and men included, I think we're around 100 total people like march to the Redline brand now since we've launched. And that, I had a little realization though one day. I was like, oh man, like we got a lot of responsibility on our shoulders now, right? And it feels really good. Like, and just you show up and like people are wearing your logo and they're talking good about you and they're posting about your stuff. So you can see how impactful leadership can be on a big team. And you're right, you can have those one-on-one coaching sessions, but being able to set the culture and the tone of an entire organization is something that drives us now too, right? Because you can see how impactful that is when 100 people are marching to that same culture and job. And what about when 1,000 or when it gets to 10,000 one day, right? That's what's exciting now is like when we have this business that's based on our internal core values, and then you're watching a whole nother group of people take those core values and take them out to the world, right? And out to the sales front. And that's what's really inspiring today now.
Yeah, no, I love it, dude. So then, I mean, you guys, you launched this not too long ago, right? Within the last couple of years. And, I don't know if this holds true to most brokerages in Canada, but here in the States, man, there's a lot of brokerages, but very few are able to get above 30 or 50 agents. They just get stuck, but you guys, I'm sure it wasn't just instantaneous success. I'm sure there was, speed bumps and learning curves throughout the path. But, what do you think has been the thing that has allowed you guys to create that culture and attract, and have so many agents want to join you? Because, I mean, dude, like right now, we're in such a saturated space. So many brokerages, and you got all these extremes. You got the EXPs. You got, there's so much damn noise, right? Walk us through like what you feel that you think that you guys have done right to, again, create that and attract those people to you.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's two sides of it, right? It was the creating it and then letting people see it. So, creating it really was about us, sitting down on those whiteboards and saying, let's build the company we want to work for, right? Like we didn't just invent this. Like we both ran sales teams. Like they already had a brokerage, but it was a team-based brokerage, right? So Redline already existed, but not the way it does today. So I think we took the time to strategically identify this white space in the market where, in a lot of our cities, we've got the big national franchises who are, competing on, look and feel and rent a desk a lot of the time, right? And then you've got smaller independent shops like you're describing that are usually formed for the benefit of the owners who are still trading and whatever. And we think we found this white space to create a sexy, growing national brand that's also acts like a local boutique in each of its markets, right? And where the owners are completely vested in the sales force, right? Like running the meetings, running the trainings, checking in on the agents, being coaching, not just saying, here's your license, here's your logo, good luck, right? And so creating that culture and that company that we wanted to work for was the beginning. But then I'll tell you, our real success, and I'm glad I've never really been interviewed on this so far, but we talk about it internally, is we took this approach of, we just got to show everybody what we're doing. Instead of making empty promises or trying to make pitch documents or whatever, let's just flip the cameras on. Let's start holding free training events. Let's do video blogs behind the scenes at the office. Let's put coaching sessions on. Let's start a podcast. So we were like, we believe in what we're doing so much that all we had to do was turn the cameras on and take the curtains back and say, hey, look at what we're doing. Find that we've obviously identified a correct white space because the people who already felt like us, but they just didn't feel at home in their current situation. And so they're calling us and saying, wow, this looks like the same way I kind of saw the trainer on stage and said, hey, that looks like me. People at their current situation are looking over at what we're doing and going, hey, that's what I want out of my career too. That's the kind of place I want to work for. That's the type of environment I want to be part of. And they're showing up in droves. It's really exciting. And it's cool too, because it's kind of like when you get to that point in your business too, where you start to attract like-minded clients. In the rookie phase, you got to take every lead that comes, right? And so I feel like we're there with the brokerage too, because we didn't start this thing out of desperation or out of a paycheck. Actually, we probably would have all made way more money staying salespeople, right? We made it because we wanted to work for a company that we loved and put all our full hearts into it. And then to see other people just attracted to it and embrace it and succeed in it is like, oh, we're getting that validation that 2 years ago conversation on those whiteboards, we were right. And so that's it. We've created the culture. We lead it every day with a lot of effort from the top down. But then in terms of just showing it, like letting people in, like we had an agent today from a competitive brand come to our team meeting. It's always open door. You want to come to our team meeting and see what's going on? I got nothing to hide, man. And so we put 90+% of our content for free out there. Like there's very little behind the scenes that you see once you become a Redline agent, right? And I think that's been our key to growth.
Yep. No, I love that, dude, man. One thing, and I'm sure this was extremely intentional, but after I had Kelly on my podcast, I don't know, a month or so ago, and was interviewed, on his podcast and got to know him pretty well. And now having you on, it seems like you guys have been very strategic about identifying who your partners were going to be when you launch this. This is something, whether it might be two real estate agents that just want to team up and partner up because they feel like they do more business together, or, whatever different level. I mean, so many people jump into partnerships for the wrong reasons. So many people get it wrong. But it just seems like, man, you guys got it right. Can you kind of just walk us through and elaborate on, why you think that the partnership works and how you guys identified, really create that perfect partnership on skill sets, and core values, and all of that?
Yeah, well, so the team grew organically, and I'm the last to the party at the national level. So Darren and Brett, they had a company. They were the partnership, the buddies, right? Went to school together, went to college together, were real estate investors together, opened a brokerage together, right? But then later along came Kelly, he was growing a sales team in the same market, competitors to them, but they ended up meeting down, I believe, sorry guys if I get the story wrong, but at a Boomtown conference. They're both running the same platform in the same town, right? They realize they have a lot of shared values and say, why compete against each other? Why don't we combine our platforms and teams and do this together? So that was the start of it. And I got to give Darren, a lot of the credit. He's our CEO and he's got a lot of the forward-thinking vision. I've always been a lone wolf most of my life, right? Getting on, I don't need help from anybody. I'll get mine, right? Don't bug me. Never liked group work. So this shift into partnership is a big change for me too. But I had to, once I found, people that shared similar common values and that we can have thoughtful disagreements with each other and people don't get all upset. I've realized that it's a lot better to not have to know everything yourself. And we can have these great, debates and defer, right? Me and Darren will disagree on a lot of things, but I know where he's won before. So when he sends me a new sign concept and I don't like it, I say, but I trust you, man, because you got the last one awesome, right? So that's kind of how this team got assembled to where it is today. And I think, one of the keys in that is finding those complementary skill sets, but in there lies having to be self-aware of what you're not great at, right? And that's the hardest thing for us in this business. It's a very ego-based business for us to be able to say, you know what, that is not my strong suit. And so whether that's an admin or a partner or a paid employee or a coach or a leader, when you can identify the piece that's missing and instead of trying to go fix it or build it yourself, just say, I can just plug somebody else in here to shore me up. I think that's the secret. And it starts with actually being honest with yourself of what you're not good at.
Yeah. No, dig it, dude. No, awesome, man. Couldn't agree more, man. Because you obviously started out as an individual agent, creating success there, team leader, a lot of experience as a coach. Then now from the brokerage side, and this is, might be, well, it won't be an odd question to you. I usually don't ask this type of a question on the podcast, but, based on like your experience in all these different components of this business and, when you see the agent that's out there that, like, what are agents truly looking for in a company that allows them to go out there and create that success? Like, what would you say is the, the biggest common denominator that's stifling them for the success and that they really want to see in a brokerage?
I think, I was having this conversation with an agent last night who's been a year in the business and has had very little success where he's at. And I was very, quick because he looked at what we're doing and was like, there's the answer, right? And I had to put the brakes on him in that meeting and say, listen, man, yes, I believe we have a much more fertile environment for your growth. But if you're not going to put the effort in, if you're not going to go do the work, right, then it's not going to happen for you, no matter how much fertilize. So I think it's important to pull away the shiny pennies from the realities of this job. And one of the key things I believe that's stopping people is an overall mindset issue, right? And that's with the people you surround yourself, with the cues you're getting from your leadership team. Is that mindset of we don't stop in the face of adversity, right? We have multiple ways to skin a cat, right? We're going to go get it. We have plug and play systems. So a lot of people come to us thinking that we have a superior marketing solution, which I believe we do, superior tech, which I believe we do, superior culture, which I believe we do. But at the end of the day, once they've onboarded and they're starting to experience what we're doing differently, the number one thing we get at, it comes back to everybody. They all mention culture. Okay, well, that's a buzzword, right? But what does that mean? What we believe that means is we work hard every day to instill a culture of collaboration, right? Because we experienced in our own careers a culture of competition inside of our real estate offices, right? Where colleagues were pitted against each other. Big, deal boards were put up. Who's the winner? Who's the loser this month, right? Everyone's private office has Venetian blinds and they're all closed or frosted. Nobody can see what everyone's doing. And so it's really hard to reverse course on that culture. But when you do, and when you can indoctrinate everyone that we're in a world of abundance, right? If we all work together, even though we may come up against each other in a situation once in a while in our marketplace, but we can all level each other up, right? And so that's what we really try to foster. I mean, there's not even any walls in my 2,400 square foot office, right? Like I don't have a door, I only have 2 walls. I don't have a third wall at my office, right? Like we want people to engage, interact, share, bump into each other, collaborate, share a lead, share a deal, right? And I think that's what people are really loving. Like people are blown away that we have almost 100% attendance at our weekly brokerage meeting. It's not mandatory, man. It's because people come for the energy, right? They want to be part of that. And they don't want to get the text later like, hey, where were you, right? From one of their coworkers. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like, so wherever you're at, right? Audit your circle, right? Who are you with? People that are bringing you down at work or at home? Are you with people that fire you up, right? When you're in a bad mood, do you get drawn to go into the office, or do you stay away from the office when you're in a bad mood, right? These are key questions about your environment. Is it fertile for your success and growth, or is it's just like an accessory? Is it a little thing that you use as part of your business, or is it really fundamental to your success? And I think that's key. And we understand that. And I'm not going to lie, it takes a lot of work to keep that culture going, right? With a bunch of high performing salespeople. But that's our number one goal every day, is to lead by example in that culture of collaboration.
Yeah. I love it, dude. And I couldn't agree more in that. A players, man, want to be swapping ideas. You want to be learning. You want to be around like-minded people. And I think too, in my experience, when you have those cultures of that collaboration, it also creates like an element of accountability, because it's like, hey man, if I'm just getting all this great information from everybody else, I'm just being the taker and I can't contribute, right? Like it almost kind of creates that accountability where you force yourself to create success, because now you want to give back and be able to collaborate as well, which, I think kind of a hidden piece that a lot of people don't always think about when it comes to the collaboration. But because so many people are trained to be in the scarcity mindset, like you talked about, what are some ways, to kind of just open it up and break the ice and, get people sharing and create that energy? So it's not just like, and I'm guilty of this, dude. You go to my real estate office, and we got really small spaces. They're more pods, but they're always fucking ghost towns. Right? Like there's nobody in there. There's not great energy in there. We could do so much better of a job at it. Like, what are some of the things that you would recommend? I know we'd have to do another 10-hour podcast to go through all of it, but what are some like the key things that you'd recommend to team leaders or broker owners to start that culture and lead that path?
One of the things I would say is key is, that brokerage meeting, it is not a policy and procedure meeting. It is a sales meeting every week, right? And it's not a one-to-many sales meeting. It's an interactive, everyone, if you're coming to my meeting, words are going to come out of your mouth. Nobody sits quietly at our meetings, right? So a couple things we do to get the energy going at the beginning, I have everyone share a win of the week, something from their business that was positive that they did, from I picked up the phone finally to I booked that $1 million listing, whatever it is for you, right? There's no judgment. There's no follow-up. It's just share a win of the week. Then it's, how are you feeling? One word, right? Give me your pulse of the room. And we actually record those. I get the email after the meeting from my admin team of everyone and how they're feeling today, right? And you get that collective energy of the room. So that starts the meeting by getting everyone. And we get lots of opportunities to cross-collaborate. Every time a problem comes up, where's your challenge? How are you feeling in the market? It's not Jeff giving a report from the front of the room. It's a collective, collaborative, sales meeting where we're all helping each other. And so then we'll take an issue too and try to, okay, what's worked for you? What are you doing to generate listings right now? How about you? What's working? What's worked in the last week? Oh, you're calling the web leads. How's that going? Did you change your script? And so I really, in that meeting, I want to foster that culture and get everyone talking and almost mandate it, like you tell now, and then now it's your turn, right? And then we hope that same culture carries through week after week, right? And we're seeing it, interestingly, at the size of the Calgary team, at the size it is of 60 plus agents, where they're like, that culture is forming on its own now, right? I saw a women in real estate group form inside the brokerage, not initiated by the leadership, right? We see little prospecting groups form. Hey, let's get together and prospect together. So you can tell when you mandate it from above, of, and use the leadership group, run it like that, the whole team's taking their cues off of you every day, right? So they're going to follow through. If you step up and go, here's the board, we're behind, everyone one more deal, and the top producer's getting an award, well, that's the culture you're pushing down too, right? That's not a culture of collaboration. That's, I got to steal his lead so I get the prize and I get the post on social media. So it's a very tippy knife edge to run a high performance sales team where also everyone helps each other. It's a balancing act.
Yeah. So with that being said, because I got to imagine if you're not careful, like shit can just kind of get all over the place and get scattered. You go in there, with like an intentional topic, like, hey guys, today we're just going to talk about online lead gen, and then the next one might be offline lead gen, and then follow up. I mean, is it kind of like a very specific topic that we're going to cover today?
It's even more specific than that. We're taking the collective pulse kind of the last week and the gossip and the rumors and, what are the admin telling us? And I'm trying to preconceive a presentation that I believe, or a topic that I believe everyone needs right now. So if I'm hearing lots of mumbling about, the market's slow or there's no listings, then I'm going to pull some data and get a conversation going around, or get people to share their win that they got a listing, so I can pump those stories out of everyone's heads, right? So you got to be listening from a high level of what is that collective feeling of your team or of your thing, and where are they wrong, right? And you can't just tell them you're wrong. You've got to lead that culture that, wait, what we're thinking, that's, we've all been in this, in a negative environment. If I flip it the other way, where everyone, say the market cools, walk into a real estate office, right? Everyone's like, well, I'm not selling any houses because the market's cold. Hey, oh yeah, well, he's not selling no markets. Did you hear the market's cold? Oh, the market's cold. It spins really fast, right? Real estate people love to have excuses to why they're not succeeding. So if instead we start hearing that stuff, then I'm going to start pulling some market stats. I'm going to be asking, how do you get listings even when the market's slow? Hey, who was in business last time the market was slow? What year was that? What happened then? Oh, did it come around, right? So we're listening all the time to what the unreasonable stories being told around us are, and trying to reprogram them through group discussion in our team meetings, and one-on-one too, right? If you're getting, like, if someone gives me a negative feeling, again, they're usually going to get a collective awe from the room and a couple of touches, but then later in the day, they're going to get a follow-up call from me or the broker record to say, hey, so what's up? You were a little off at the meeting today, right? And those little check-ins, like, hey, this guy that I was with last night who's had no success in his first year of business also said he's never had one meeting with his broker in 12 months, right? Like, he's like, you think the guy would call after 6 months and no sales and say, hey man, how are you eating, right? Like, but I think our industry shifted in a lot of the places to this independent, left to their own devices. That's not the highest level of success for most people. Some people are great. Just put them on their own, let them do their own thing. But most of us need a community to drive us.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, man. Then, going back to, I know you're one of the co-owners and you're wearing a lot of hats there, but, what I have in the bio is you're overseeing operations and digital marketing, right? And you don't hear a lot of brokerages, right, have a focus on digital marketing, right? And different things. And that's what I love about you guys. I mean, you guys are very progressive. You're very forward thinking, and, it just seems like you're years ahead of where the rest of the industry is. Can you kind of elaborate on what that looks like with your role when it comes to operations and digital marketing? And I'm really intrigued on the digital marketing front of what you guys are doing to help grow the brokerage with that.
Yeah. So operations and digital marketing to me are basically one and the same, because at the end of the day, they're all just processes, right? They're just checklists and processes. And that goes back to my computer programming, like I dream and sleep in flowcharts, right? It's just the way my brain works. So to me, that stuff's really natural. Like, I've always been a process type of guy. Like, I don't like doing things multiple times. So I'd rather figure out, a 3 steps algorithm, and it took me 10 hours to program, so I never have to do the same thing twice again, right? That's always been my DNA. And then on the marketing side, I've just never believed in traditional marketing. I've never done it myself in my career. My entire personal career has been built on AdWords, videos, social media. I'm a very lucky and grateful man that the industry and the society has all aligned in 2018 for this to be working. But I've been doing all this stuff since 2009, right? I started making videos right out of the gate. I was on Facebook marketing, and I was even giving talks 6 or 7 years ago about how to use Facebook in real estate. It just so happens now it's all working like crazy, right? So those two things combined. For the brokerage, my job is to set the strategy, right? Set the budgets and the big campaigns, and help people understand why we do things this way, or what your goal is. When you make a video, is your goal to sell that house, or is your goal to brand you, right? We have these like deeper discussions. And so we want to set the tone, at the brokerage level. That covers how we market our properties, because we do take an active role as the broker in marketing all of our listings, through our channels, and our budgets for our agents, but also marketing the company from a recruitment point of view. So there's two whole layers there on strategy and budgets and content rollout and what we're going to do. And then for the agents is to set up, it's a little more challenging, I'll be honest, with the agents, because every one of them's got a unique personality, a unique business, right? And so with the brokerage, I can set two kind of policies. Like, here's how we do recruitment, and here's the different campaigns, the different content. Here's how we do our listing posts, and here's how we make videos. Agents, it's a much more challenge to set up a framework for marketing success and a framework for them to create their own processes for their business that they can then go and customize. And that's a lot more challenging to create more of a base level system. But that's my role, right? Is to show people, okay, here's a way you can do it. Now, how do you put your spin on it? And how are we going to go deliver that through your channels or your natural spheres or whatever? And just to bring this full circle, right? Like, it's crazy because a lot of veteran agents are attracted to our brand too, because they see what we're doing as a little old school, right? The way that our organization is more of a sales organization. It's not just a desk grind. They remember this kind of stuff from 20 years ago in the business, right? At their franchises. So they're coming with much different. They don't care about digital marketing at all, right? They need help. Get me back in contact with my sphere, pull my database for me. Let's get organized. So we're getting to go back into those stuff, but apply today's tools and technology to sphere marketing, or show someone, hey, give me your whole list. Let me put them into the email software. Click, you can message them all at once. And they're like, wow, this is awesome, right? So that's really my role is to oversee and basically break everything down that we do from magic to repeatable processes that everybody can go and use. And then obviously once you do that, then you can start to see test and results and tweak things and adjust and continuously improve. I think when we're just running off the seat of our pants, you get a lot of success through hustle, but you can't necessarily go and say, oh, how do I make that better, right? Without any consistency.
Yeah, no, I love it, dude. One thing that it just really impresses me about you guys is the amount of growth that you're having without actively recruiting. You're not sitting on the phone doing 500 dials a week to recruit one agent. Like you talked about, man, you've got your different campaigns, get them to be aware of what you're doing, impacting their lives, inviting them to sales meetings. And can you just give us kind of an overview of what that, like the start of the funnel, like, hey, let's just say I'm doing a Facebook ad, yeah, right, to what that overall process is. Is it to lead them into eventually the sales meeting and then, walk them through? Because I think just like as a real estate agent, like every real estate agent's like, look, man, if I could generate Facebook leads, have the funnel follow up with them, get them to raise their hand, never pick up the phone, that's probably most of their wishes. Yeah, right? Where you guys have been able to do that on the brokerage side, where it's like, fuck, if we could recruit and have that process automated, attract the people we want to attract. I mean, I got to imagine that's broker's freaking dream, right?
Yeah, I got to be careful. That's our real secret.
Yeah.
No, just joking. No, like I said, we're really transparent in it, and people want to think it's a lot more complicated than it is. But really, what we're doing is we're just trying to, however we can, to show the people who aren't with us what really goes on here, right? And I think a lot of brokerage owners currently either don't want to do that, like them getting on camera or being the public face of their brokerage is not comfortable for them. Or B, there's not a whole lot to show, right? Like there's not a whole lot to show. Like in my videos, you're seeing it. Like some days I'm out installing the signs with my agents, right? Helping them with the video. Like we're very involved leaders. So it's easy for us to turn the camera on because it's fully transparent. Like transparency has always been one of our, big core values. So it's nothing for us to just show what we're doing. So what really we find happens is that instead of cause we've been coached to make the calls and everything too, right? Like by some great recruiting coaches that we don't listen to. And, but we found when you got to go out and go pitch somebody or sell them, it's a lot harder sales process than showing the world what we're doing and letting the people who want to be with us walk in the front door. Right. And that was a hard thing to temper at the beginning. And of course, if you do get down to the sales process, like, we're going to do analytics, right? We're going to send out an email and I can see who opened it. And we're going to call behind that and say, hey, did you get that? And what did you think about that piece of content? But it's not just going to be cold dials up and down the list of top producers, right? In the same way, I can give a big secret here to anyone who's a team leader or a broker owner, a recruiter, or whatever, right? If you're going to go down this road of content production, you just watch, man. You can tell when someone's hot on you because they start watching your content, then they'll do a like, then maybe they'll leave you a comment, then you'll get a friend request, boom, you're going to recruit them, right? If a competitive agent out of nowhere becomes your Instagram friend, you're going to recruit them, right? Like, it's just, there's no reason for another real estate agent to be double tapping your content, right? Unless they're interested in what you're up to. So you start to see there's these new mediums that are allowing us to communicate in ways that are much more natural for the agents too, right? So for me to start following agents radar on their social channels and making positive comments, and then watching their sales and making an outreach and letting know we've noticed they've had a good month and stuff. So one thing that really stuck with us when we did have a recruiting trainer, he was telling us, just be their broker before they're your broker, because their broker's not doing it, right? That's what he told us. And so he's like, instead of waiting till they're on the inside to love on them, love on everybody and watch who shows up, right? Just act as the whole city's broker. Congratulate everyone. Be positive with everyone. We give this direction to our admin team too. I'm like, act as the cooperating agents admin too. Send them the full file, right? Ask them if they need any help. Tell them they can reach to us if they're missing a document, right? Let them experience what life is like behind our logo before they ever do. And magically, when you got the goods and you believe in what you have, then when they show up and it's all in alignment, then it's a no-brainer, right?
Yep. No, I love it, dude. So, where do you, because again, you guys obviously amazing brokerage. You've got experiencing fast growth. You guys are doing so many things right. I can't fathom that you don't just continue to just grow, hit that inflection point where it's just, instead of 100 a year, now it's like you said earlier, 1,000, 10,000. Do you guys have a vision for, where do you see this going? Is it to eventually, franchise it, or just always keep it privately owned and take it as big as you can take it? Like, where do you see it going?
Yeah, we're still in the learning phase of that. Obviously, we have a BHAG of like being a giant national brand, but we're also we got to walk before we can run, right? Lots of people from outside of our trade areas are interested in what we're doing and are asking to be part of it, right? But we also know that we have an obligation to grow two highly successful, profitable, stable brokerages. Like, you actually have to have a model before you can repeat it, right? And I'd love to say, hey, take this and run, but we're doubling down, right? Honestly, our leadership discussions right now are about slowing the growth and focusing internally on our administration systems, on our coaching, on our individual agents' productions, because anyone can come out hot and recruit a bunch of people in 1 year, but your retention over the next 2 years is going to tell whether you actually have a serious business that people like to be part of, right? Or everyone got caught up in the hype of a new fun company, right? So that's 100% our focus right now. And as soon as we've got that figured out and we've got a playbook that says, okay, here's how we did it in Ontario, here's how we did it in Alberta, then we'll be looking to repeat it, obviously, and keep growing it and keep leveling up. And now hopefully that begins next year or so. But again, we're going to walk before we can run. So we just got to keep pushing on our own personal sales teams, keep the focus local for a little while, and before we even look at the whole package and start to grow. That being said, I do think that there are some deficiencies in the franchise model is why we got to where we are today, right? Because no matter how good the corporate brand is, the local sales team is kind of left in the hands of that franchise owner. So you can go to a national franchise and hop city to city and get a completely different feel of those offices and their professionalism, their quality, their training, and everything. So one thing that I think that we've realized is just how important the local leadership teams of these offices are going to be, and that you don't want to just go the quick route, sell a franchise, good luck, right? I don't think that's going to be our path, because we've identified just how important that hands-on leadership arrangement is. So I think we're going to have to, either grow up leaders from internally, or find those key partners who feel and believe the same things we do in the next towns over, And really it's going to be an interesting thing to figure out, how do we scale this leadership culture out beyond the current team, for sure.
Yeah, no, I dig it, man. And you know, just by you saying that the way that you did, you know, it shows that you guys are staying true to, you know, your core of why you started this, you know, creating that company we want to work for, and you know, keeping that experience uniform for everybody. So I love it, dude. So if those that are watching and listening, man, I mean, I know that you guys put out so much great content. You know, if somebody that's watching wants to stay in touch with you, follow you, check out some of your stuff, you know, Jeff, where's the best place to go do that at?
Yeah, definitely. The best place is my personal Facebook page. That's where I put all my own content, my coaching, my live videos, my thought of the days and stuff. So that's Jeff Thibodeau. I mean, I'm sure you can link it up for them. I got not the most common of last names. So if you get it in there on Facebook, you should find me. And then of course, Kelly and I, you know, our brand Redline, we have a training arm called Thrive Not Survive, all one word, .ca. And that's where we post everything we do from a real estate training sense, and it's all there public. So, you know, that's a website you can go access every back podcast, every speaker we've had in an event. Basically everything we do out publicly is archived there somehow. So yeah, hit me up on Facebook, and you know, just like yourself, like I love having conversations with people. You know, whether it's your first year in the business or 15th or 100th, I don't care, man. I love talking about real estate. So honestly, if you're listening to this and something resonated, send me a DM. Let's get a conversation going, and let's talk. Even if nothing comes of it, we've just made friends, right? And leveled each other up. So so don't hesitate to reach out if you're listening to this.
Yeah. Awesome, man. And as you said, those that are watching, listen, there'll be links right below, you know, to the website, to Jeff's social media. So we'll make it super easy on you, where you can link up whatever you're listening, watching, that will be there. So again, those that are watching, listening, I know I end every podcast with this, but information without implementation truly is the start of delusion. Information isn't power. It's taking that information, taking action on it, that allows you to create the power for you to go out there and create the life that you know you want and deserve. Jeff shared so many amazing pieces of advice with you today. Take something that you learned, go out there, take immediate action on it. And again, right below will be all the links and websites where you can link up with Jeff. So make sure to take action on that. And Jeff, dude, this has been a lot of fun, man. I know you're a busy dude, and truly appreciate you taking time out of the day to be here, man. It's been an honor.
Your energy is contagious, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, my friend. I appreciate it, man. And those watching, listening, thanks again. We will see you next time.
Adios.